to Forever Home channel. On this platform, we discuss all things related to Ghana and Africa. Our real estate company, Royal Consulting Solution, is the foremost location for all your land acquisition, building needs, relocation, and starting a successful business in Ghana. We also provide quality information through our consultation and webinar series. We can be reached at royalconsultingsolutions.com. Come join the trusted source for all your reliable information. Hello, everyone. Thank you. See who's here. Salif is here. That is good. We have a new person, Pape Amaf. Hello, thank you, Dr. Sa. Thank you, Kwame. Thank you for being here as well. Let me know if you can hear me. It's always good to check the audio and everything. So, Joe, thank you. Royal Kemet, thank you as well. So this will be the link to join in today. I have some guests that will join in as well. So anyway, beautiful day. I hope you are doing well. Let me see. It says I have 7 eyeballs and stuff. So I'm looking forward for today's in-depth discussion. And today I will try my best to narrow it, okay? Because I don't want to use the word diaspora because it includes a lot of things. And so what I want to narrow the discussion to be is more geared towards African-born and raised who are living outside their respective countries, whether in the West or in the East. What is our role in the development of our various countries? So it's going to be narrowed to that specifically. And as we go into deep, we will talk about the reasons why I'm narrowing it, because I feel like we will feel like a unique void that is very, very important. Okay, and so I'm going to try to narrow that. So try to keep it. So if some of the questions end up including all the Black people in the world, I'm going to bring you back to this topic. Okay. So anyway, thank you for joining me. I appreciate you taking the time and everything. So I'll start with this. For most Africans that were born on the continent, I remember at a certain point we had a desire to leave as our respective countries for myriad of reasons, economic reasons. Sometimes it's civil war and all that stuff. And most of us, when we left, the goal was, hey, I want to go and acquire certain knowledge or learn some things and then eventually bring it back home to establish myself. That was the goal for most of us. And so when we come here sometimes, when we come here and then we do forget sometimes because, we get caught up in so many things, distractions and stuff, that we owed our responsibility. That was the mission why we came here, never to permanently stay here per se. And live for the rest of our life here. And so we have a situation that when we look back at our respective countries, there's a lot of problems going on. Okay, and so then the question becomes, should we go back and do something? And some people say, look, forget it. I'll just stay here. Too many problems. I can't deal with the corruption. I can't deal with the lack of infrastructure. I can't deal with all these things. So I might just stay here. We'll dive deep later into the cost of making that decisions to stay here and what you should expect. And so we disowned the motherland, we disowned the homeland, we disown our heritage, and there's consequences to that. And so I know some of us are doing a lot of things. I think last year we sent over 50 billion remittance to our families back home, and I think it's more than that because that is the stuff they're really tracking online. There's more different ways that we move money to our people down there, so that doesn't account for that. And so one of the today's topic is, like, so I'm going to narrow down to, like, what do we need to do to keep that fire burning? What do you need to do to go back and build our countries? Because it is easier for us to do it. We are part of that culture. That is a root. We speak the language. We are ingrained to that. It's who we are. And so when we go in there, we understand the sensitivity. We understand what needs to be done. But if we refuse now to move back and take care of this responsibility, or at least provide leadership here, then it's going to be difficult, because it's like inviting somebody else to come fix your mess. I don't think it's going to happen. If they do it, there'll be a greater cost to you. So that is where we are moving the discussion today. Is like, look, we have come here. Some of us are educated. We are professional. We've shown discipline. We work hard. We have some money according to the data. We are doing well. And so the question um, is a question of will, not intellect, not ability. Now we are at the stage that is will. Do we have the will to go there and wrestle the country from the handlers who are behaving in the non-productive ways? And so my goal is to start the conversation to see what are the ways that we can uh, go back and fix this thing. And this is what I mean. We, meaning African born and raised in Africa, but living outside. How can we go and make that happen? Or should we just cut our losses and let it be? So I already have some guests. I'm gonna bring them in, and then Salif, you are in here. Dr. Sa, thanks for joining us. So here are the rules, though. I will have to see your face. Okay, you have to put that in there. So I will have to see your face. I think some presence over there. So yes, yes. You see, you guys are all handsome brothers and sisters. We got to see that face. And so, Salif, I'll bring you in. You will start, and once I see your face, then I'll add you as well. Okay. And so, bro, take it.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us this morning. Um, it's very, very unfortunate that some of us living abroad, we kind of have some frustration going back home. We don't want to really go back home anymore because certain things that being done back home is not really like it's not the land, what they do over there. It's not um, favorable for us to come over there and start a new life and all that. But what I want to say here is that if you have Africa in your heart and you have family back home and you know that, hey, listen, nobody's gonna come over and build the continent for me. You have to take the initiative, the first step to go and start something. If we're gonna go over there individually and start doing stuff, we're gonna face the same frustration and we're gonna turn around and come back here. I think that it's very very important that we have a kind of um, we put things together, the diaspora put things together, and we collectively, each individual having a business or having something in mind, a skill set or something, we put things together, and then we can really really make a big impact in our continent, in our respective country. But if we go individually, starting doing stuff, and without involving other brothers, it's gonna be difficult for us. And the way that things are going right now in the West, in the United States or in Europe and all that, we know deeply, we know that, listen, it's a matter of time. Those part of the world will be really really unbearable for us to stay. So we have to take the initiative now and make a plan, consult our brothers and sisters here and back home, and start doing things ourselves. If we don't do that, other people gonna come over and take, you know, not take. They come the same way that we go to the United States or Europe, looking for something, looking for a better life. That's the same way that they come into our continents, our countries, but they have a plan and they're well organized. That's the same way. So, but if we step back, step aside, and watching them, definitely we're not gonna have something left for us. No, we're gonna be behind, and it's gonna be sad. We're gonna be condemned to stay away, and that is not an option that we want to do. Definitely not.
Good way said. Uh, Salif, can you mute your mic? Okay, so I'm gonna add African millennia on. Salif still in the backdrop, and then I'm gonna add 41K, and then Joe, I'm gonna stay in there. Then I'm gonna add you. Okay. Hello, African millennia. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good. I'm fine. Thank you. Thanks for having the show. Yeah, this topic is definitely a topic that I can honestly say is a very important one because, even speaking from experience, I was born in Ghana. We left, we came to Canada for a better life, right? I'm not going to sit here and lie and be like, oh, no, no. In Ghana, our life, it was, let's just say that if I was in Ghana right now, um, I'll probably be hawking. So it wasn't like we were living amazing. We're living pretty average, but not that great. Anyways, we came here for a better life. So we came here basically for money and we came here to advance, go to school, do all these things. And I've noticed that a lot of people a little bit older, it's like you said, they wanted to come back, but because of work and all these things, they're stuck. They can only go back home maybe once a year, even if not every 5 years. And then basically they keep waiting until retirement, until they can actually come back home and enjoy life. And if you ask anybody, that's usually what they'll do. They'll stay here for a long time. They'll come back home when they're in their 60s and their 70s. And I honestly think that that old way of thinking has to change because it's like you give your best years to the West, you give your youth, you give your intelligence, and you if you're living here full time, there's no way you can say, "Oh, well, I'm contributing to my country," because let's be honest, 70% of your check is contributing to the West because you're paying taxes, you're paying food, you're paying bills. So most of your money is going to be contributing to their economy, and that has to be by design. I have to argue that has to be by design. So you give the leftover, like the little itty bitty 10%, 20% of your paycheck back home. And then on top of that, depending on who you're investing in, which usually is family members, that money sometimes ends up getting wasted because they don't value that money as much as you do. Or they think that you have more. So that money ends up going to waste. So even the remittances, I would argue that remittances, they're not bad, but they should not be the standard. And that is the standard. If I'll be honest, a lot of people are content and they're okay with just sending 10%, 20% of whatever they make in the West back home, and they think they're doing a wonderful job. And that's not enough. You know, what we need to be doing is we really need to be, first and foremost, we do eventually need to go back home, most of us, but we also need to be investing. We need to be buying our lands. We need to be, all these beachfront properties, we need to be buying that. We need to come together. We need to build more manufacturing practices. Apparently, they said there is a tomato processing plant now in Ghana. So we need to work on building more of these plants. There's a China mall, right? We need to make another one that's not anything to do with China. Like, we have to literally start building these companies because if we don't do it, others are going to do it, and then in 10, 20 years we're going to complain that, oh my gosh, why are these people doing this and we're not doing it? I feel like some of the diaspora, and I'm almost finished, but I feel like some of the diaspora, it's like we are at a better advantage than most of the locals, right? So that responsibility to protect our land, it should be within us. But for some reason, we think that somebody else is going to do it, and evidently, no one else is. So we definitely need to start paying more attention to those things.
Thank you, thank you. So what I'm going to do, Joe, for you gonna go. I see Joe. I'm gonna. So you stay on. I'm going to remove some of you, but still stay on. So Joe, for you can go. Joe, let me add you, and then after that, Namaya, you can come in. Okay.
All right. Yeah, can you see me?
We can see you.
Yeah. So like I like to piggyback on what African Millennium said. Um okay. The whole process of working here and then retiring is not actually a bad idea. Honestly, it's probably the safe bet to go. Because honestly, you can't just go back to Africa and just drop in without having a plan, you know? So I think the best thing to do before you go that is that's their plan. You know, everyone's different and everyone plans differently. So I don't think we should be looking at someone and say, hey, they want to do it that way. That's how they feel more comfortable. But I do think that there's things that everyone needs to do before they go to Africa. And I just want to talk about that for today. So number one, if you're gonna move back to Africa, like we all want to move back to our homes and everything like that, we're gonna have adequate planning and we need to have somewhere to stay. You know, it makes no sense to go back to Africa or Ghana and rent. Like, why would you want to do the same process you do in the United States of America? So, like, one of the things that I think is really essential and one thing that we need to do right away is like getting land, then building, then having a car, and then having some type of business to do. Um, I think a lot of people like to go with their heart and stuff like that. But if we don't have those proper things in place, it makes it very difficult for us to make a big impact, you know? Also, when it talks about you can't make a big impact and you're not in the country, that's not true. You can make a big impact and not even be in the country. There's a lot of people that are Ghanaians that do big things in Ghana, but they don't even live there. So I think what it is that even when we come to like our checks and stuff like that, there's ways of saving and knowing what you want to do with your money. You know, instead of buying sneakers and buying a new latest car, if you can save that money and push it to your country, like I know a lot of Hispanics and other people do, that's how we can build our country up too. So I think that we just have to plan how we're gonna do it. You know, when it comes to like infrastructure, building malls and stuff like that, I don't know how many people can build a mall, you know what I'm saying? Or build like a railroad. Those are more of a government essential things that the government has to do, you know? And I think one thing is that we need to get more people from abroad back in government that can change their way of thinking and get them on a more narrow straight. But I think as individuals, we can only do what we can. That's in 10% of your check, 20%, it all counts. So I think we should just try to push forward in that direction.
Let me add one little thing, and then I will bring Joe on. So one of the things too, like I'm looking at too, for because yes, government has these responsibilities, but realistically, I don't think they're gonna do it. I don't think they want to do it. So because if they wanted to do it, it would have been done by now. So I think one of the things is that is when we come in. We care about the place. We love the place. It's home. It's our roots, heritage. We can't give it up. We may have to wrestle it out from these people. But in order for us to do that, we have to go in masses. We start with establishing our own needs first, right? Then we can concentrate on what is best for the general public. So we have to go in masses, and everybody's established. So we go in there, and we may have to finance our own campaign, right? People that think like us, that have the same thought process, that we have to push them somehow into the government, and we're going to support them by any means necessary to keep those people over there because we know what time it is. And so until we do that, I'll give you an example of the Nigerian situation, right? I think, from my opinion, Nigeria could have been one of the top nations that ever existed in period, pre-dynastic, dynastic, and now. They have the capability, the talent from Nigeria. You can find any specialty in any field. You can find one Nigerian in there. So it has nothing to do with ability. The issue is this: a lot of the people that could really go and change the country don't want to go back. They just don't want to go back. They look at the corruption, they look at the mess, and it's not just only to Nigeria. That's just a lot of the African countries like that. So they cut their losses, say, you know what, I'll just stay here. And so, but the locals are not going to pull it off. And the politicians don't care. Because if you bring the next politician, it's going to be the same thing. So unless, in the case of Nigeria, unless all these talents are willing to sacrifice, to move down there, okay, hey, be real, some of us going to lose our lives. That's okay. But that is the only way it's going to go. Other than that, when you sit outside, it's going to be a mess, and it will get to a place that you are lost. Your generation is lost because if you don't have a home, you just wander into the world and nobody cares what you did. And so that is the same message for us, that if we don't go in droves, really droves, we can't be doing one or two things. We can go, and I know that, look, anybody here, if we go in Ghana and we do something, I know I can trust you. See what I'm saying? Because the mindset is the same. So I don't have to worry about what you're going to do. So we have to go like that in droves. And then we have to sort it out, because if we are saying these governments can do it, I don't think they would. I don't, even if they can, I don't think they want to. So Joe, please come in, and then I'll bring Nanaya, and Dr. Sa, please, I'll bring you to in. Okay, so
Yeah,
go
hi.
ahead, bro.
I have a very good experience with this topic, right? I was born in Ghana. I came here when I was 12 years old. Now, my dad came here when he was around 30. He started college here, and again, the mindset is I'm gonna establish something, and then maybe one day I'll go back home, right? The same thing with his three other brothers. So they were all in the U.S. Um, my dad became a teacher. He was teaching for a while, and I think around the 90s, mid 90s, he got really fed up with the system in the US, and he said, I'm ready to go back home. I've got two master's degrees. Let me go back home, impart my knowledge to my people. And when he went back home, he realized, I mean, this is a guy who actually had some people there who were kind of helping him. But the struggle my dad went through just to get a job, to teach, just we're from Koforidua, and there's a college right down the street. My dad went there banging on doors for 2 years. Come to find out, they thought he was overqualified, and we were scared that once he gets in there, their jobs are going to be made obsolete. Basically, that's the mentality. That's the mentality we have back home in Ghana. So on the flip side of things, it's great. It's good to have those kind of ideas, but the people back home have their own ideas. Like, you're coming here to take my job, and it's a big struggle. My dad went through this for 2 years, and he finally gave up, got fed up, and he decided he wasn't going to work. Right? My dad has been in Ghana since about 97. Never worked one day in his life. And he went in there with specific ideas of what he wanted to do. He wanted to help the youth, but he did it other ways. The neighborhood kids came to his house. He was teaching them, give them knowledge on what to do as far as getting themselves educated. so they can do something better for themselves. Um, I myself, like I said, been here since I was 12. I thought I've gotten enough knowledge. I want to go back home. But I remember when I was in my 20s, when Ghana Airways was still, big. I had just gotten out of college. I've gotten all my pilot's license. And I went, a bunch of people told me who to go see. I went and I saw the head of pilot recruitment at Ghana Airways. And the the attitude, right? The I couldn't believe it was my own people treating me this way, right? So, like the other lady said, it's very hard. The mindset is you're gonna come here, and once you're old, you're gonna go back home and try and do something. I was young when I was trying to go back home to because my field is flying airplanes. I wanted to fly for Ghana Airways. That was my dream, right? And went back, and the reception I got, it turned me off. So it's great to have all these aspirations, to have all these knowledge, but the resistance is so difficult to overcome, right? And I just wanted to share my experience.
Let me add one more thing, and then I'll bring Dr. Sai and Anaya in there. Is what you said is true. You're gonna get a pushback, especially that is why doing it individually is tough.
Yeah.
It's tough. So my attitude is your dad's situation. We're gonna go there. We're gonna build our own schools. We're gonna hire him. He's not even gonna deal with those nonsense. The
Mhm.
airlines, we're gonna come up with the money, I compete them, develop our own airline industry, right? Because when you go in there and you try to disturb the dysfunctional system, right, you're gonna have a struggle. You have to go in with a lot of people resources and build a parallel system. That is much more efficient than trying to break what they have over there, even though it's nonsense. It doesn't work. They still want to maintain it. And so individually, you're gonna get frustrated. You're not gonna do it. You're gonna come back or you're gonna be on YouTube saying some things. But you have to go in there with a strategic plan and say, look, we'll build our own universities, right? So your dad cannot be overqualified because we value that knowledge and experience. So we're gonna build our own and then we can employ him, right? To shape the next mind, the next generation. So I think that is the approach is parallel. Let's do something and we can compete. Eventually, that is the only way. Other than that will be difficult. So I'm bringing in Dr. Sa and then Anaya, okay? So stay in the background and then wherever, let me do this.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Afternoon, sir.
So, my name is Dr. Sar. I'm originally from Senegal, that's in West Africa, Francophone speaking country. First and foremost, I would like to thank Salif, for telling me about this initiative. So, Salif, thank you very much.
Thank you,
Well,
Salif.
it's my pleasure to be among you. And I heard a lot of, good stuff. One thing I want to say before jumping on my ideas is there is resistance everywhere. And change doesn't come just like that. It's a kind of incremental, you know, step by step process. So we have to keep that in mind. And wherever there is a difficulty, we have to take it as an opportunity to capitalize on. All right. So we've been talking about leaders in Africa and, how we can be of a value added to the African continent. I heard a lot of good stuff, but I think that sometimes we point the finger at our African leaders, but we should sometimes, stop and make a kind of self-awareness. I've been in the US for almost 6 years. And when I came to this country, I was shocked because the first thing I did, I came to this country, I had a master's degree. And I was making some kind of research and see who are the most successful African people in this country. I was surprised to see that the Chinese, they have the banks. I was surprised to see that people from Philippines, they have the banks. People from Hispanic countries, they have the banks. No African bank. That's the first thing. And when I was looking at the most successful business people in the US, I found that the Nigerian were, at the top of it in the oil business. But I also noticed that they were not actually impacting the communities at the same time. So, executive qualified African people from the diaspora should make a self-awareness. How am I using my voice after I have found my voice? And how am I impacting the people of my community to find a voice? This is really important. So we need to multiply more in terms of leaders of positive influence. That's what we need, because we are more driven by making self-profit than redistributing the value to the community. You have a lot of African people in this country, from Ghana, from Senegal, from Nigeria. They are millionaires. But, for me, they are nothing, in the sense that they are not impacting the community, the life of the community. Now, let's move on back to the continent. We've been in this country, which is a successful, country. How are we learning from those successful stories? And how are we benchmarking good practices for the benefit of our continent? We have the sun in Africa. And what are we doing in order to create value in the energy sector so that people in the village will have electricity? What are we doing in order, to create value in the health sector with today's pandemic and with women giving birth and dying because of the lack of health infrastructure? So these should also be essential questions we should ask ourselves. There's a lot we can do, but individually, like Joe said, that's not possible. How can we use our individual intelligence and turn them into collective intelligence? How can we create more value? How can we confederate as, African executive from the diaspora? It will be interesting if we can move towards all these together. I believe that there will be change because people like Kwame Nkrumah, they sacrifice, and still their voice is being heard, and still their vision is being heard, because we have youth African people from the diaspora back home still struggling. For example, the eco currency, that was an idea of Kwame Nkrumah. So I'm optimistic that there will be change, but how are we going to be part of that change? This should be the key questions. How the African diaspora will contribute to that effective change. So that's my contribution of the day. It's my first time attending, this novel, this interesting idea, and I'll look forward, to attending it whenever it's going to be held. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. I will keep you on the backdrop a little bit. Nanayao, let me add a couple people there. Nanayao, just go ahead.
Okay, thank you and good morning, everybody. So I'm thinking about it this way. How did we get here? I mean, why are we all, I think, are we all displaced? Why are we all displaced? Because if you're not home and you're somebody else's home, you're displaced, So we all, one way or the other, travel outside the country because we finish college, there's no opportunities, there are no jobs, or there are no better paying jobs. Your family is looking up to you, and you get this opportunity, and you're looking for that visa to go outside the country, and you get the visa, and so you leave. You come here, an uncle or auntie receives you, you start doing some jobs, McDonald's, and then you start going to school, and then you're climbing the corporate ladder, and then you get a good job somewhere, and then you become comfortable. You buy a house, you start getting paid good money, you start a family, and you're living the American dream, and you take money home, you start building projects, and then you become a citizen, and you start speaking like them, and so then you're comfortable. That is a story of the average African immigrant who comes to America or goes to the UK or Germany. So growing up, I lived in a place where my dad was an engineer, and there were a lot of engineers, and so they travel outside the country. The company brings them here to come and study, with Siemens and with GE, and then they come and stay. Some of them stay for a very long time, and then they come back. Some of them don't come back, So we saw them when they come back, and they bring cars, they bring nice things, and then we also again when we get there, we also travel outside. But most of the examples that we saw were people who came and they returned. And now most of them some of them are chief executives of water river authority, some of them in bigger places. So that has been the trend. That's the reason why we come here. So then I'm looking at it this way. Why is it that we feel like we can't go back? And we have genuine reasons. It's very frustrating. The last time I was in Ghana, which is quite recently, I had a story of two doctors, a husband and wife, who came to set up shop. They came to start a business, start a small clinic and a hospital, and they got frustrated because they're thinking they're bringing something to the community, but whoever was responsible for issuing the license probably thought that they needed some kind of bribe here and there. So these people were not ready to pay anything, so they got frustrated and they left, because of the issuing of the license, so these are the things, man. I understand the pilots, man. It's hard. And these are the things that will make you mad. You know what? I don't want to be there. I can't go through the frustration, but we know these problems. My point is, all of us know these problems. We're Africans, and we know where we come from. We know where the frustrations in the land. So what are we going to do? Are we going to just stick by that narrative and say we're going to stay out, or we're going to go and change it? Or I'm just going to get comfortable here and endure whatever I go through psychologically, emotionally, or physically. What are we going to leave our children behind with, especially here in the West, where everything seems to be shifting? So that is what is driving this discussion. Because it is home, but it's not home. And so then, what do we do? That what I think that this discussion should do. What do we do? What steps do we take to mitigate some of these challenges that we face back home? Because really, they're not going to go away. Your family is still going to see you as a messiah who has all the money. People are going to expect you to pay the price if you want to start up that business. But are we just going to say no? And because of that, we are not going to go in and set up that business and then build that house or build whatever we want to build. I believe Ghana Waste is no more. But things have changed for the better. Maybe for the worse, I don't know. But I think that these are challenges that we need to overcome. And then when we overcome, the story will be different.
Let me say one thing, and Salif, it looks like you want to say something. Then I'll bring African Millennium. Okay, so because I was thinking about the cost of not going back home and trying to, like Dr. Sa said, influence your community and then build upon that. I'll say this. I met a Ghanaian doctor friend last year. He was honored at where I work as a distinguished guest. and we met after the program. Smart guy, very serious neurosurgeon, travels all over the world, run hospitals in LA and New York City, and he travels all over to do very difficult procedures. So we met, and it was like we've known each other for a while. So we spoke, and then I told him bluntly, I'm like, look, your resume is impressive, but I don't care about that. With who you are, renowned neurosurgeon, what are we gonna do back home? You know, and he was like, let me show you something. And so, but because when I asked these questions, there were people around, and so we changed it into our language. And he pulled me aside and he showed me some of the stuff he's doing on his phone. And I said, yes, that is what I care about. You're doing something to impact the continent. Okay, so that's what, like Dr. Sa said, it's not about the comfort that we have here. At the end of the day, if you can't influence our communities back home, then it's of no use. And so the cost of staying here, this is what is going to happen, because I've seen this. But some people come here and they get fed up. Then they make the decision they're going to stay here. This is going to happen. So that big house, eventually you're going to get old. Your kid's going to move you out to assisted living. It's going to happen. Okay? You're going to be sent to assisted living, and that house is going to, they want to sell it off and chop out the money or something like that. And we know if you have visited assisted living, you're going to see the empty eyeballs. It's a place that you go to. They don't visit you. You'll be lucky if you get a phone call because you're a burden now, because the cost of living here is you become so individualistic. Instead of a home back home, you can have dignity. You can still live in your house. There's family members that will take care of you and they're going to support you. So grandma and grandpa, after all these years or what they've done, get to live at peace with dignity. Here, you're going to go to assisted living home. I don't care what you think you are. You will get in there at 80 or 90. You will go in there, and then when you get in, there will be a countdown for death. And so that will be the cost. And don't tell me at that time you wouldn't have regretted. Who wants to go die in a foreign land? You know? And so I think for the way I see it is like we have no choice. We really have no choice. We just got to go back home. And is it going to be tough? Yeah, it's going to be tough. It's like it's going to be messy, but we have no choice. I don't think like staying here is an option. I really don't think it's going to happen. So I feel like we need to go, and we have to do it as a group. Masses, individually is going to be struggle unless you have a good network. So my goal eventually is like we develop this cohesion, whether you are in Senegal, whether you are in Burkina, whether you're Mali, whether you're in Nigeria. If anything happens, you have brothers and sisters. You see what I'm saying? That can support you or help fight and change our community. So that is a global thing. That is something that obviously the strategies are not going to be discussed on YouTube. But my goal is to find the people that their heart bleeds Africa. It's like their mind bleeds Africa. Not that what you've done here. Look, a lot of people live, above their means here and stuff like that. I don't care about it. I don't care what you have here. It doesn't move me. It doesn't move me. I respect the impact you are making on the motherland. That's all I care about. Okay, so Salif, if you have something to say, let's bring African Millionaire and Joe.
Yes, definitely. So what I want to add is that I think we can count on some people that already went back home and doing some things, and they are successful. I have a friend of mine. He was here for about maybe I think 10 years or something like that, and he went home. Well, now the guy don't want to even come here in the United States. He has a family and everything. Coming here doesn't mean nothing to him anymore because he's well established over there and he's doing good, honestly. And I envy him, honestly. I envy him. So those kind of people, we can approach them and learn from them. How did they establish themselves, and get advice from them first, And then we gotta support them. Those who went back home and have a business already, or those who are here but have a business back home already that's well established. We have to support them. How? If we need something, we contact them. Listen, I need this, I need that, I need that. You are, in this sector. You are a professional in this sector. You know what you're doing. Can I count on you? I need this, I need that. And the person will help you. And that is going to build wealth, in the community. That will encourage other people that want to go home also to not be afraid and go and have the business, knowing that if they're not going to lack of client or customers, something like that, because they have brothers and sisters on their back they can count on. So I think that we can approach those people too and get, advice and guidelines and all that too. Yeah.
Thank you. African Melania, you want to add something? Your mic is muted.
Oh, sorry.
Yes, sir.
Just that not everybody's meant to actually start a business. I feel like some people are just not. No offense, their mind's not there. So some people can be like, as Salif said, some people can just be investors, people who already are doing things. You can just financially back them up. And for other people, I feel like maybe you don't even have to go to Ghana. You could go somewhere else. For instance, if you want to do something in the entertainment industry, maybe you can go to Nigeria first, see what you have to see over there, and then bring that back home to Ghana. So it's a process, but you also have to figure out what your strengths and weaknesses are, and you realistically work with that.
I agree. Like what she said, it's like it's a team, and not everybody can be the captain, and everybody can be the goalie. And so, as long as we're pushing towards the same journey, um, some people are more daring, so they're gonna go in and then go after it. Some people are just wait and see. But by the end of the day, is we have to push forward. I feel like that is the only option. There's um, I mean, it's like other than the cost long term is going to be so great, and so we have to step in. Like we've come here, we've done well. We understand these things. We have to go in there, and it's going to be ugly, but we have to fight our way in, and do what we need to do to at least, even our lifetime, if we can solve this issue, we have a platform for the next generation to also build upon what we've been able to do. I'm gonna add a 41K, and then Dr. Sa, I'm gonna bring it back in, Joe.
Okay, can I say something?
Okay, go ahead.
So I believe that we suffer the MIA syndrome, where when we stay away for too long, basically you're missing in action, and your vision is kind of clouded, and your mind doesn't really is confused on what to do when you get to Ghana or get on the continent. So it's very important to go back home, travel back home, and it has to be a conscious effort. You stay away thinking you're making the money here, and all you can do is send it to Wave or transfer it to your bank for your people to use it to work. You do the projects for you, build your house, build that business for you whilst you're away. I think that is not helpful. And we need to look at people who are successful. I mean, I love this guy, Nanaya Kwame Bediako, young guy, who's building, big buildings in Ghana right now. That's a real estate mogul, developer. I mean, the kind of things that he's doing is mind blowing. And so then when we think about going back home, I think we should look at think big. So as Tony's saying, we need to start thinking big and working groups. Now, if you're a doctor, if you're a nurse, if you're a pharmacist, can you put money together to build a hospital? And I think I've said this before. I think it's possible. It's not really that difficult. Build a structure and then put in the equipment and then train people and then hire people. Are you going to make money? Yes. Will it be like making money here in the US? No. Is it possible to do it? Yes, because the constraints over there, they're challenging, but hey, other people have done it. I mean, so I'm still going back to Naya Abediaku. He has done it. Did he face opposition? Of course, I believe he did. I mean, this guy is buying land in the middle of the city, and then building skyscrapers. It's like, did he have to pay some people off? And I believe if you sit him down and ask him about the problems he faced to do what he's doing, maybe now the politicians are in his pocket because he has money, but ask him the way he started this, So we need to, and I don't like now it's like I don't really like talking to people who just highlight the negatives. We've had it over and over again. The media has already told us all this. It's like, what are you going to do? Okay, so it's negative, is hard. So then what? You just shut the door and sleep? I don't think so. It's Africa is where you will find all the negatives. Nothing works. You have to bribe everybody, if you want to get things done. Or maybe you don't have to bribe. Maybe you have to bribe one or two people. So it's going to be a situation where we just have to make up our mind that what, it's hard. It's a lot of investments. I have friends who say, "Oh no, I don't talk about Ghana. It's too much investments." And I totally understand that. It's a lot of investments. It's a lot of sacrifice. But listen, this is how you're going to separate the men from the boys. The men will go and face all the obstacles, and they'll build and succeed. And then you show up one day and it's like, man, you've been missing in action, man. And we moved on. You can eat the crumbs. And I really don't want to be that. I don't want to be part of that group. We'll be told that, hey, man, you're late. I'm sorry, but we started building already, and you're late. So let's get in, man. It's hard. It's not easy. I mean, but is it possible that we can do it? Yes, we can.
Okay. Fori, go ahead, and then I'll bring Joe and Dr. Sal.
Yeah. I like all the ideas that we're saying and everything like that, and I do think it's very possible for us to do these things that we're saying. But at the end of the day, it's that like everything is all cool when you say it, but actions speak louder than words for me. You know what I'm saying? Instead of saying someone people someone just has to go do it. Once someone does it, then we'll know that. Then people will understand that it's doable. You know what I'm saying? But when we just talk about things like that and no one's actually on ground doing it, then it's kind of hard for people to actually believe that it's true. Like all of us that are on here, I hope we're all talking about how we're going to develop Ghana. I hope we're all starting projects and we're all doing something that has started doing something. You know what I'm saying? It's very hard for someone to come and watch these videos, and then the people that are talking about this stuff haven't done anything. So if someone are doing stuff like that, it's good for us to show what we're doing, so it helps other people get the encouraged to come and do things too. Like Forever Homes, like Tony, before I saw Tony's videos, I was doing my own thing before. I was gonna build my house. I was gonna do that before I ever met him. But watching his videos gave me more motivation to keep going. You know what I'm saying? At one point, I started when I was young, and then like watching his videos helped me to encourage me to keep going, like I was saying before. So I think that instead of like talk is good, but that action and that showing the objectives and showing, okay, I did this, and I did that, and I did this, will help others feel the courage to do something too. There's a lot of people that have heavy pockets that are Ghanaians that are like, you know what, Ghana, man, pet, because like it's too much kalabule. They don't want to do it. They're like, I'd rather stay in the U.S. and live comfortable. Why? My house is gated community. My kids are doing fine. We're all going to like Ivy League schools. What's the initiative? But once they see others that are going back and actually doing something, then they'll be more encouraged to do something. That's all I have to say. I'm done.
Good point. Send me the check.
Just to answer that, I've been speaking to Forever Home, and we're going to be showing what we're doing. It's going to be the new thing that we're going to be doing, because we know it's important. It's good to talk all these nice, beautiful talk, but if people don't see what you're doing, I mean, we're coming in big with videos, showing all we're doing. So we're not just talking, because I mean, come on, what's the point in just talking and not showing what you're doing? And it's, and I know as an African, especially Ghanaians, we're very reserved. We want to hide in our corner and do our own thing. If people even think when they show what they're doing, they'll get killed. But as you said, it's the same thing. When I saw Forever Home, and then, what he was doing in his house and stuff, I'm like, man, that's how I got to know him. So yeah, we're going to be showing these things, man. And I believe you all, like to show what you're doing too. So yeah, I agree with that.
Okay, so I'm gonna bring 3 people. Santi Queen is here. We're gonna have Santi Queen here. I'm gonna bring Joe. I'm gonna bring Dr. Sir. I'm gonna keep Salif and Anaya at the back. Okay, so take it. Anybody take it, and then we just rotate.
Kind of want to add on to what Ofori was saying. I totally agree with him. Sorry, I was having some technical challenges. But yeah, in Ghana, whenever you try to do something, you're always going to face some challenges. The obstacles are definitely going to be there. You can't say that because of it, you're going to let that stop you from doing something. You are definitely going to face it. That's the country. That's how it is. And so we just have to start. Try and do something, and at least make an attempt to try and build, do something in Ghana, make a positive impact in Ghana. And then if you face some challenges, still try and overcome it. But if you don't try at all and just say, oh, Ghana is this, whenever you try to do something, you face challenges, you face obstacles, then you wouldn't even try to do anything at all. You won't make an attempt to do anything at all based on the challenges that you will face. But at least let's, give it a try it, then you can say, oh, I tried, I did the best that I can do, and it didn't work out, so I did what I can do. But I'm sure that if you try, you will get somewhere. Of course, the challenges is definitely going to be there. I'm guarantee you that it will be there, but the reward is going to be, great. So, and you'll feel great about making a positive impact in the country. So let's all come together and make a little contribution to our nation.
Excellent.
Ashanti, I entirely agree with you. Let's take actions.
Yeah.
If we don't take action, we'll only be talking. And I notice one thing African people we are good at is just talks. Let's move into implementing actions. Let's get together. I'm from Senegal, but that will not constrain me to do something in Ghana. And I believe and I hope that next meeting, we will have the opportunity to come up with a project idea. And we can share that project idea. Some people might be interested. Some people might say, okay, good, I want to be a key stakeholders. Some people might say, for example, I can bring investments into this project. So like this, if we are able to identify one area where there's a problem in our countries, and we come up with a project idea, we implement that project idea, and we see the impact, the social impact, the economic impact, the environmental impact, and then we can move on to another country to implement the same idea. This is how we're going to change the continent. And I believe that not only we have the technical skills, I don't know exactly what's the qualification of my brothers and sisters here, but we all have technical skills. We also have soft skills. That's why we are here today. And if we use that to our advantage, we will change the African continent. Let's think big like Kwame Nkrumah. Let's think big like Patrice Lumumba. Let's think big like Sekou Touré. Let's think big like Julius Nyerere. And we will be able to provide a check to the continent. It's not going to be a check that will come with zero amount. It's going to be a check that will transform the lives of our people. And I'm looking forward to it. And I know that we will make it. Let's make it together.
Well said.
Thank you. And you have a greeting from my son, Mohammed. Mohammed, say hi.
Hi.
Very good.
Hi, Juan.
I like to be a
Um,
firefighter.
Nice.
We can use that
All
in
right.
Ghana.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna
Um,
remove.
Thank you, Matt.
All right, thanks. Go ahead. Go ahead,
so
Joe.
what I wanted to say is we need to understand one thing. Ghana is an emerging country, right? We're kind of moving from the quote unquote Stone Age. We're moving into the modern world now. And I can remember when I was a kid growing up in Ghana, some of the challenges we faced. And now going back to Ghana, it's totally different. I mean, sometimes when I'm in Ghana, I'm like, am I in New York? You know, I'm walking around, I'm thinking I'm in New York somewhere, right? Um, and there are people, I don't want to say the name, but there are other countries, other people who see the promise, right? Who sees what's going to happen if they come and invest. And they're going gangbusters all in Ghana. I mean, you go to Ghana, I was shocked one day. I'm at the traffic light sitting there, and there was somebody actually putting new traffic lights in. It wasn't one of ours, you know, and I was taken back. I'm like, how come a Ghanaian is not doing that? You know, that's jobs for Ghana. Why are we bringing people in to do things like that? But it's because they see what's happening in Africa. Most of Africa is coming up. It's an emergent. We are going to be the next, you know, Western world, so to speak. And yeah, it is time to invest in our country. It's time for people who have come here. We have the knowledge. We need to go bring that knowledge back and contribute to. But like you said, we are all going to have challenges. There are lots of challenges back home, and we just sometimes we need to overlook that and just keep pushing. But
I
like
mean, go ahead. Like,
one,
how did we get where we are, right? Challenge
yeah,
overcoming these challenges, right?
mhm.
So that is how, like as Shanti Queen said, the reward, right? So I think the reward, the greater reward for me will be knowing that your life did matter, that you made an impact, right? To me, that is worth any mansion, any luxury car, any of that kind of stuff. And so I actually embrace the challenge, like, because it's gonna find out what you made out of, right? Like Joe Forey said, right? It's like it's gonna show whether you really gonna do it or you just gonna be talking about it. So I embrace it. Is it frustrating something? Yeah, but it's like it's just part of the process, right? Of getting to the goal that you need to get to. And so if I felt like there was a challenge in Ghana that I couldn't overcome, then I will not be doing these things, right? And so I think once we build the network within ourselves, and we will be able to overcome these things, because when you go down there, you have allies, right? That people can help you in this specific area. The challenge is for us to able to create that cohesion, to and maintain it. And so if we do that, we'll make our mark.
And also, what's going on in America today should even wake you up. I mean, if you are African living in the US, that should open your eyes to know that this land is really not your land. I mean, it's great that we've had the opportunity to come here and, you are here. But the thing is, it is not your land. No matter what, your country is your country. No matter how bad or how disorganized that you think the country is, it is your land. So what action that is going on, and after the elections, I just hope that I just already see, what can happen right after the elections, and that would tell you that this is not your home. So this is now the time to try and do something back home. Let's come together. You don't even, if we want to put some kind of project together, you don't have to use your own money, to do that. Maybe 10% of yours, 10% of Forever Homes, 10% of Joe's, 10% of Nanayao's. Let's come together and say, hey, let's form this company and then build something. Maybe a massive hotel, maybe a production company, factory, something. Let's, so that you're not putting all your eggs in one basket. You have 10% of everybody's, and then at the end, I'm sure you will have some kind of profit share in it. But now is the time let's come together and do something in Ghana. Start right now, because the years go by fast, and by the time you realize, you're like, wow, I should have done this in Ghana when I had the chance to, when the price of a land was this much, and now it's 10 times, what it was like 2020. So let me at least try and get some kind of property. Even if I don't have the money to build right now, I have it. And then, make plan. Start a little by now, and by the time you'll be there. The years go by really fast. So let's come together and do something together.
We will. Let me bring Bitcoin. Bitcoin, you are in there.
Hi, good afternoon, family.
Are you hiding your face, Bitcoin?
Yes, I'm unfortunately still driving.
Okay.
So
you get a pass today, only for today.
tomorrow. So one thing I would like to say is that we are all in the same, I guess, the same journey, which is we know where we have to go and we know the journey of it. One important thing that my coach always told me is that challenges are opportunities. I used to be a long distance runner. And the biggest opportunity that always came, let's say an entire racers of 300, the biggest, everybody's got the same legs, same training, same opportunity to be first place. But it's the mindset when it comes to challenges. And one important challenge that I always was told when I'm running is when you see a hill, that's when you run the hardest. Because everybody else, when they see that hill, that's when, oh man, this hill is going to be hard. And they're thinking about how it's going to affect their body, how the pain that they're going to go through to get to that hill. But the coach was like, your legs are going to hurt, the lactic acid's going to set in. But remember, once you get up that hill, it's all you, baby. Like once you get up that hill, everybody else behind you, they're still struggling with their mental, not with their legs. It's the mental that's hardest. And so once we need to break that cycle of I have to send more money, or this person cheated me. I like one thing Tony always told me is that in every project that you do, you will be used, but don't be abused.
Right.
So we know that there's going to be hard times and we know that's going to come. So we just, put that also in your schedule. I'm going to buy this many cement blocks or buy this land, but also have it in your mind is that there's going to be a challenge. There's going to be something. So when it comes, it's not as scary, oh, I see the hill. It's not as scary, yeah, I was anticipating a hill within my project. And another thing that I like our son, Muhammad, that came and said he wants to be a firefighter. I love my children. I drive wherever I drive them. I'm always talking about Africa. I'm always talking about Africa. We'll watch YouTube videos and we see the villages and this, and then I'm in Canada, by the way. When we're driving around, I'll ask my child, "What do you see?" "Oh, I see a school. Oh, I see homeless people. I see this," and I'll be like, "Yes, there are homeless people in America. There are homeless people in the UK." But I wanted to appreciate that there's struggles here, because the one thing we don't get is when you're bad, my mom would usually say, if you don't watch, I won't send you back to Africa. If you don't watch, I won't send you back to Ghana. So then the mentality is that Ghana and Africa is a place of poverty and punishment. Therefore, if I'm even going to grow up or even go on vacation, the last place I'm going to go is a place my mom always threatened to send me to, right? So we need that mentality has also been feared in our heads. So even our children, let's go on vacation to Ghana. Why do I want to go to Ghana? Blah 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 blah. But we have homeless people here. We have my daughter sees, she's like, I see that there's homeless white people and homeless black people. And I tell her, yes, it's the mentality. So I kind of gave a comment about Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Good book,
Teaching
by the way.
a very good book because I was teaching my daughter, I'm like, you know the difference between an entrepreneur and an employee. She's young, but no. And if I asked a Ghanaian, do you know the difference between an entrepreneur and an employee? They would still say no because they'll just say one has a business and one doesn't. But it's the streams of income, different streams of income. I was had a conversation with my wife yesterday. I'm like, we have multiple lands in different places, but we have only one source of working income to build on. And she's like, oh, where do we start? I said, we don't start anywhere. We continue putting our financial foundations in the right places. Warren Buffett is my favorite go-to guy. The first time he was investing, he did his due diligence, years and years of different companies and which one to invest in, and he invested and then laid back. How many of us have invested in Ghana gold mines? How many of us has invested mutual funds in different countries or in different stock markets so that if we're in Ghana, in case anything happens, we know we can pull money elsewhere. I always watch, if we want to be like the millionaires and billionaires, we watch them, not their flashy clothes, but how they started. They started with a lot of investment, a lot of researching what is money, what makes money. Everything is money. Ghana, the reason why you can go to Ghana and see different countries coming and doing what they want is because money talks. Money talks, BS walks. And unfortunately, our own country, we're the ones still employees. Yes, not everybody can become an entrepreneur, but a lot of people must become investors. Investing in each other. I like America. Sometimes you hear, this foundational black group, they got together and they purchased land. This Somali association, they all got together and purchased land or purchased a bank or something.
Mhm.
We're not alone. Just on YouTube, we have about 20 something people, and everybody has different talents. Brother Tony, honestly, from everybody that's listening, God bless you because we all started as individuals and we're right now here talking and sharing ideas with each other. And I would like everybody to continue spreading this website or this platform so we can get other people in, the ones that don't know what to do. I called my mom recently and I was like, Ma, you're about to be pensioned. How come you don't go to Ghana? And she said what every one of our parents will say is it's not enough to survive on anymore. In the 80s and 90s when they were working and thinking about their pension that they get, they knew that money was good enough. But now with inflation and high prices, my mom, she's built her house, no business, and she's like, she goes back, now she has to look for some sort of new investments. So I ask as much as we see challenges are opportunities, there's no such thing as a recession as one millionaire said. He said that's a time for opportunities. You find these companies are closing. And I'm sure in Ghana too, land prices are probably getting cheaper. They're getting cheaper in US dollars, but in Ghana currency, because of inflation, it looks expensive. With all countries going bankrupt or countries shutting down, they're going to be desperate for money. This is where, if you have a few dollars, you find companies that you're willing to invest in. And it's just for, leaving it for the rainy days when the challenges come and you don't have money, there's somewhere to pull it out to. Because that's the biggest setback where you invest all your house and then you found out your brother's selling the house to somebody else or the land is not yours or so and so. It's very depressing when we don't have other ways to continue our projects. Um, Sorry for my lengthy talk, but I wish the best for everybody, and investing and having multiple streams of income is one thing we need to start learning to do. So, Rich Dad Poor Dad, it's a very easy book to read. Even let our children start reading it because we need to have that entrepreneur mindset instead of just employee mindset. I don't look at my child and say, "What do you want to be?" I like our son Muhammad. He said he wanted to be a firefighter. As soon as he said that, my heart is, I want you to own fire department stations. I want you to not own it just in Ghana, but have private in Nigeria, in Benin, in different places. And that's where I want our kids to go. Daddy, what do you want? I want to be a firefighter. No, you want to open a firefighter, corporation in Africa. That's how it started here. The firefighters were private enterprise. The police were private enterprise, and eventually it became a necessity. Ghana, yes, we have our challenges, but there's enough opportunities that the challenges are very small afterwards. So thank you for listening.
Okay, so I'm gonna add one more person, and then we are gonna have at least one solution, right? One solution on how we're gonna put this thing all together. So there's a new person, James. Let me see. James, are you there? Can we see your face?
Um, I'm at work right now, so I can't, unfortunately.
Okay, I'll
Um,
give you a pass. Go ahead.
just for today, thank you. Um,
Yeah.
again, this is a great platform, and I appreciate everything you guys are doing. It's awesome to be part of this group. Um, Forever Home, I followed you. I kind of caught up to your YouTube about 3 months ago. I went all the way back to when you started your building and watched every single project you did. And I am amazed at how this YouTube channel has transformed from a building project, which was great, into such a great discussion. You could tell the passion in which all the speakers there, um, anytime they are commenting, you could tell the passion, how bad they want to help the Africa agenda succeed. Ashanti Queen, I have also been following you, um, and you guys are doing awesome. Now, for me being a newbie, I've been in the US. I live in Pennsylvania for just about 9 years. I came here when I was 27. Um, and trust me, coming here, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to leave the American dream. I'm going to build my family. I'm going to be successful. I mean, I did everything right. Went back to school. I had my degree back home. Came here, it was worthless in quote. Had to go back to school. Went all the way. Currently doing my second master's, and yet that feeling of and I have a great job. I'm in healthcare. Have a great job. Have two kids. Buying my first home here. But that feeling of emptiness still existed until I started. I watched Forever Home, one of his YouTube. I chanced upon it, and that was um, 3 months. Actually, chanced on it sometime last year, December, and it was when I think you returned back home the first time to look at your project, and then I saw that, and I was like, okay, oh, and then you talked about how you started. It was just a snap bit of how you started a project. Then I was like, oh, my mom has a land back home. Let me start my project. I got so addicted in the building project that I was just able to do the foundation before the coronavirus hit. Um, the reason why I'm giving this background is the can-do spirit. I never in my wildest imaginations thought that I can do something back home. My mentality was, let me get wealthy, let me get established here before I go home and start something. That was my thinking until I started seeing people with the little they have, the little contribution, and it kind of resonates in every serious minded YouTuber who is doing something in Africa. That same mindset seems to resonate in everybody. The little you have, just start something small. Start something small. Until I actually started a project back home. So this shows how important the can-do spirit is. And yes, was it Uforis they say that we need to show what we are doing. We don't necessarily need to show how big our project is. You don't have to be building a hospital to show it. You can start how do you call it? A tomato or a bakery, a small bakery on the side that is doing very well. Anything that you are doing that can add to the value, the African value, we need to show it because that little thing you think it's less expensive, doesn't get the ratings that um, the the corporate world wants to give, because you are not there yet, so you are hiding behind the scene. No, show it, because that little thing can influence or motivate somebody who will end up becoming successful and prosperous in supporting your project. So indeed, yes, we need to let the world see what we are doing. Also, coming together and forming, we all know as somebody said, I think it was Nanaya, that we all know the problems back home. We need a solution. Yeah, everybody is very much aware of the problem. We need a solution. We all know the solution too. The challenge with the solution is the mentality back home, because you have a great solution. So I have the story of, and I probably it's a popular one, two Canadians who went back home to establish an IT. They wanted to establish an IT hub. Now, as part of they wanted to do a charity donation before they start their IT hub in Ghana. So they shipped a bunch of computers and laptops and stuff like that, and then it got to the Ghanaian harbor. Um, and then there was all this issues of going back and forth to clear their stuff, and they went through a huge hurdle. Finally, a politician or somebody of reverence in Ghana noticed it, and then eventually they cleared. By the time they cleared it, there were only monitors left in the containers. Everything had disappeared. That discouraged these two Canadians, and they left the shore of Ghana, never to return again. These are some of the problems that and I'm not saying it, but these are the real challenges that deter. Because if these two Canadians go set up a YouTube channel and tell their story with evidence of it, they've discouraged more people from coming than not. Than we like they've actually discouraged people from coming. So these are some of the things that we need to find solutions to. Some of these problems. What do we do? Do we form an organization to check this? That hey, if you are going to Ghana, come to talk to somebody like Forever Home who has been shipping stuff to Ghana. What do I do? Who do I see? Because I hear haven't shipped anything to Ghana. I'm afraid to ship because I've seen people's thing disappear. I saw Asante Queen's when she was trying to um, I think she shipped a car back home, and she had a little bit challenge hiccup with the agency, and she was right about she talked about some of the challenges she had. Hers might be minute, but we have other people who had huge challenges. So these are some of the things that so it deters me. It makes me scared. Not that I don't want to ship, but let's say I only have $1,000, and I want to ship. The shipment costs like $500. That 500 I want to use to clear. I'm just being unrealistic at this point. Um, and then I get back home with that $500, and it is costing me $2,000 to clear that stuff. Now the good is worth $300, but it's costing me 2,000. The next time I'm not going to ship anything back home. So these are some of the things that we need to think about. And I'm grateful for this. The African agenda is important. We all know the problems. We need to figure out what the solution is. And I think with the kind of people on this platform right now, that solution could be identified, and then we can work with it.
Yeah,
Thank
and
you again for this opportunity.
Thank you.
I,
Thank you.
I also think the people on the ground, like the lands department, when you go to the ports, they also need to make things better for the people in the diaspora. Because how do you expect us to come home and make up a contribution to the nation, but yet you make things so difficult, for us? So those government sectors need to be checked. They really need to be doing what is right. I mean, the corruption and the bribery to get stuff done is just too much. So that Ghana also, I mean, that the government sectors and the places where you have to do business with, they also need to be checked. They need to be doing what is right for us to also be motivated to want to do something, because like the brother Jay Mensa was just saying, if you have to face these challenges, or what happened to the Canadians, you know, happened to the majority of people who wants to do something. Of course, we know the challenges are there, but there has to be some kind of improvement, you know, in Ghana for the diasporas to want to do something too. You know?
I agree. I'll add a little bit, then I'll bring the Naya out, and then everybody's gonna give the last take because I don't want it to be too long. So what I am doing is I'm trying to have good people in each of the most important areas in Ghana because in land I'm making progress in Accra. So I've gotten a couple good people in there. The point is, if we ever buy anything, we don't go through that nonsense.
Mhm.
See what I'm saying? And so I'm working with have two in there in Accra that are very, very good, legit. You know, they go back and search everything way, way, way back, multiple searches, make sure everything is cleared. So I will. I'm working with one. I should get my land back in about a month or so, and so far so good. The Harbor 2, same thing, right? Because eventually when you're shipping that kind of stuff, you want to have somebody on the ground that can protect those items and make sure it's not stolen. Other than that, I mean, just pray, you know. And so the goal is to have people that have ethics in these areas that we can use as part of our network, so that whenever we are trying to do something, we don't deal with this massive headaches that discourage and kills the drive of so many people. So that is what I'm trying to do with that. Okay, Nanaya. So after Nanaya, then everybody's gonna give their last take, which will be um, what is it that we need to do that we can move forward as our people and develop our country and stuff like that. So Nanaya, take that. You are muted.
Yeah, I was going to build on something that was mentioned. So when you're shipping, I've done a lot of shipment since about, let's say about 9 years now. When you're shipping anything in a container, you don't allow them to open it until you're there or your agent is there. So bear that in mind. Don't allow them to open it. That should be an instruction that should go very strongly. You don't open the container until your agent or you yourself is there. So they're going to open it. If you allow them to open it, then anybody is going to be a free for all. I don't know, and especially when you need to talk to other people who have done it before. I don't know who these Canadians are, but I'm sorry to hear that. But that is why I think that there has been a broad discussion today, a broad agreement that we need to work together. So things like buying land. We bought some land together with Tony, and it was like a Rambo leading you to go buy land in Ghana. You need Rambo. You need somebody with big muscles and a big machine gun. And to me, Tony was the Rambo. Like we gave whoever is selling the land conditions. We wrote our proposal. And we told them, if you mess up, this is what we're going to do. If you mess up, we're going to bring our money back to us with interest. So you have to work with people who know what they're doing. Okay, we sat right here in the state and bought land in Ghana. So we didn't, we went through smoothly. Okay, so don't go solo. If Jay Mensa is listening, don't go solo. Don't try to do. Ashanti Queen is there. She has a lot of experience in building and buying land. I listened to her too. I watched her channel, what she went through with her 2 plots, which ended with a quarter plot. You need to talk to people. I believe Joel have done something. You talk to people, connect. If you don't connect, man, you listen. I came back from Ghana crying. I mean, literally, like I was pissed off. I was really pissed off, and Forever Home was like, you come down, we'll go through this. I'm like, okay, I'm pissed off. I don't want to deal with it. I mean, you're talking to people, they're selling land for like $20,000 per plot. I'm like, what's wrong with you people? And it's like I don't like the location, but then it's $20,000. So there is that frustration. There are people who have done it before. Don't go there. Don't put yourself out there because you're vulnerable. They know you're vulnerable. They know you just landed. You're Ghanaian, but you just landed. You have deep pockets. You don't know what's going on. Don't do that. Don't put yourself out there like that. You're going to regret it. So yeah, let's work with people. And it's very good. You go online and saw somebody that you can work. I can bet you if you're buying something, you're shipping something. There are people here who can help. All right.
Okay, so Dr. Sa will go, then it will be Salif and then Joe. So what is the one thing let me add? Dr. Sa, so Dr. Sa, you can go ahead.
Well, what I can say is thank you very much, to having me on board. I'm looking forward to actions, and I'm available at any time to, contribute to adding value to all what we are doing. It's a great initiative, but like I said, we need more actions. Let's be oriented implementation. Yeah. So based on my past experiences, I think I can contribute a lot. And let's think about expanding this initiative to African from the East, African from the West, African from the North. And that would give, I believe, a momentum to the idea. And based on the discussion that we had today, I was even thinking, what if we try to move towards the establishment of a kind of the Confederation of African Diaspora Executive? Why? This will give more power to the idea. And wherever we move in Africa, we move with that status. We will be able using this, to deal with some of the challenges that you actually talk about, like bribes and so forth. Because I remember 5 years ago, I moved investors to Ghana, investors from Malaysia. How did I do that? I own a business known as Vision Africa 2050 when I was in Senegal. And I was organizing forums, economic forums. And I had a friend of mine who was telling me about some opportunities in Ghana. I said, okay, good. I have connections in many countries. So, though I was not from Ghana, but it was really successful. This is to tell you that wherever there's a problem, there's an opportunity. Wherever there's an opportunity, there's business. But let's be oriented, into those three axes, how we can impact our communities in a social way, economically, and environmentally. So I'm ready to take actions with you. And I believe that if we don't do it, nobody is going to do it for us. Let's think big and let's act fast. If not, in the next 5 years, none of us will be able to buy a land back home. Because if you look at what's happening in Ghana, African American are moving a lot to Ghana. And they know that the future is Africa. So that's the time for us to take action. If not, we're going to be foreigners in our own countries. Thank you very much.
Well said. I'm going to bring in Salif. Just add.
Yeah, I mean, Dr. Sarah said everything that I want to say. I just want to say thank you to everyone, and thank you to you, Tony, for this initiative that you are doing. It's very great, and we appreciate it. So everyone has to have an agenda, a plan to move forward. Talk to your brothers, talk to your sisters back home here. Have a plan, have a vision, and stay focused. And let's get it done. Thank you.
Thank you, Salif, for joining us. Hold on. Joe, you can go ahead.
Yeah, I guess we part of what we want to do is we have actually started here, right? So it's a great way to have conversation moving forward. Maybe hopefully, try and put that action, something into more action. And as Ashanti Queen said something that I wanted to kind of add to. It's like, how do you change somebody's culture, right? Um, you were saying when we go to the Lands Commission, they need to give us a break and some of the paying bribes and all that. It's ingrained in our culture. How do you change that? And that's one of the challenges that we need to come up with. We need to come up with solutions because everywhere you go in Ghana, yes, you have to pay. And for you and I, we know that's the world. And then somebody who's from the outside comes in and sees this and thinks it's a really bad thing, and then they get on YouTube and show the bad side of our country. And that's not it. I mean, we're not just that doesn't define us. So but it's a very difficult question. How do you change a culture? And but talking about it, hopefully, one day people will see that we need to change. And thank you very much, Tony, for bringing us on and having this conversation. Shanti Queen, thanks.
I'm glad you could join us because you were running away the last few weeks. So
Yes.
thank you, thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right, so let me see. Shanti Queen, take it.
Okay. Well, I think Africa is the present and Africa is also the future. So, Africa starts with you and me. The future of Africa starts with you and me. So we can say, oh, Africa is this, Ghana is this and that, when you are not doing anything to help the country. Are you waiting for somebody to develop it and then you come home and say, oh, okay, now my country looks good, my country is this, and then take the credit? No, it starts with you and me. So you do something, you do your part, the little that you can do to make Africa better. Even if you're building a small house or whatever, you're going to employ somebody. You're going to put at least 2 or 3 people, to work. And that is doing something. You're helping somebody that didn't have a job before. So whatever small, minute contribution that you can do, you're doing, start somewhere, start something, because the future of Africa begin with you and me. So let's all do something together and let's not point fingers at others like what, haven't they done to Ghana or Africa? It starts with you. What have you done? Like the popular saying, I believe President Kennedy said, ask not what you can do for your country, but ask what your country can do for you. Is that how the saying go? Yeah. Ask not what your country can do for you, but ask what you can do for your country. So do something for your country and your continent. That's all I have to say. Mm-hmm.
Well said. Thank you for joining us. I know it's still early where you are, but thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Okay. Anaya, take it.
Okay, so what I would say is, so you are planning to move back at age 60. Man, that is, we have morning, afternoon, and evening. That's the evening of your life. I mean, that's too old. I mean, what can you do at 60? Um, it's just, I think if you really want to move, if you really want to enjoy Africa, you should do it now. You know, so that's the first thing. And the second thing is that beyond big houses, so then the fear of you moving there, the fear is there because then you're thinking about how to make money, how to make some income. Beyond building of our big houses or whatever house that you're building, I think the discussion to also come to building profitable businesses. It is very, very important because you're going to need money when you're there. You can't just live in your house and succeed. No, it's not going to happen. You have to pay those bills. So as part of discussion, we need to start thinking about building businesses where we can make money. That is the only way that we can make it a transition uh, uh, softer and comfortable and possible. And then we need to control the narrative. I mean, if we as Africans don't talk, don't show our faces, don't control the message, somebody else will control the message for us. And we know what's going on with brothers and sisters who are moving back to the continent, trying to connect emotionally, whatever, and what they see and what they report. So we can come in and then control the message, let them know what they are really running into. So these are some of the things that I think that we should look at, especially with moving back. I mean, we shouldn't wait till we're 60 before we plan anything. Okay, all right. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So I would say a lot of challenges, because it's only going to make you grow. So I think, like everybody said, these challenges are opportunities hidden. And so it has been established that, our love for our place, respectful countries, motherland, is undying love, right? It's deeper than anything. It's deeper than any material possessions. It's deeper than our intellect. It's just something that we call to feel like we have to do it. And so we will do it because we have no choice, and we are going to push. And so one of the things, though, I want you guys to know is we'll keep in touch. I have some ideas and some things that we'll have to do of YouTube and stuff like that, how we are going to go big, and then change the narrative, change real conditions, and bring an impact to our community, our region, our countries, and the whole continent as a whole. And so I'm grateful every day you are alive. It shows that the job is not done. And so I appreciate all these people that are coming on. I am blessed to be in the company of people that are very, very intelligent, but above all, the heart is in the right place. And so we will do something incredible and leave a mark, leave a legacy, and contribute to all, to just as our ancestors did. And so keep the faith up and stuff. There'll be more of this coming up. And also, it's not just talking. There's a bunch of stuff we are thinking about, but all about you need a right team. You need a right team because so it's about out of the quantity, we're going to find the quality, and then we're going to push it, and I know we're going to make it. So I appreciate everybody for joining us. Every week it gets better. Dr. Sa, Joe, Jay Manson, Shanti Queen, Nanayao, Wonderful Bitcoin, Salif, African Millennium. I hope I'm not missing anybody, but thank you very, very much. And all the people that commented in the comment section, thanks for taking the time to join us. It went a little bit long, but I feel like everybody had something important to say. So you know how to contact me, royalconsultingsolutions.com, or visit our website over there, or royalconsultingsolutions@gmail.com. And then let me know what you're trying to do to see how I can help you. Like I said, if you succeed, we all do well, okay? Because it's a village. It takes a community to raise a child in the village. So thank you. I appreciate you very much. We'll talk again. Okay. Now, don't let the election, I don't care who wins, your plans still stay the same. It shouldn't affect what you need to do. You focus on your goals and aspirations. It shouldn't matter who's going to win because your life is not going to be that drastically changed. Okay. And so hopefully we'll be around next weekend. And so I appreciate you. Thank you, everything. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.